So I wanted to read a story and then do a practice. The story is from a family in the community. They were giving out yesterday. It's called the Purim story. So during the Baal Shem Tov's times, Baal Shem Tov was a miracle worker, healer who spoke truth into being. His words were alive, and he had pulse of life in his essence that was transmitted through something that was beyond the world that most of us can connect in our speech and touch. He was able to get past the limits. And he had a tremendous following, and of all kinds, all people. There was a man who collected hundreds of rubles, a huge fortune, during these days, a few hundred years ago. He was ecstatic and started to dream about what to do with the money. While he was walking and in the clouds, he heard a blood-curdling scream coming from behind him. The man turned and saw a family being evicted from their home due to non-payment of rent. Without thinking, he walked up to the landlord, handed him the sack of money, and left. A huge tumult was happening in the heavens. An angel said, "To reward him, let's give him the strength, the abilities, the strength of giving any blessing, and the blessings will be fulfilled." Another angel said, "But there's a chance he could abuse this special privilege." To satisfy the two conflicting sides, they reached a fair compromise. We'll give him these special kochos, these special abilities. However, he'll be a drunkard. So it'll be hard for him to uncover his special strengths. So it was. This man became a drunkard, a regular visitor to the village tavern. A few years later, this special man was still a drunkard. However, during that time, there was a judgment, a gezerah, hanging over the Jewish people ominously. The Baal Shem Tov was aware of the situation and sent his students to this man for a blessing to ensure this judgment, this gezerah, strict judgment hanging over, would be resolved. The students found this man after searching and tried their hardest to get the blessing for their Rebbe, their teacher, but it was so hard to extract this special blessing because the person who had these supposedly great and unusual strengths, kochos, was rolling on the floor singing drunken songs, slurring his words like a typical drunkard in the tavern. When these students finally got their bracha, they traveled back to the Baal Shem Tov, who was relieved that this bad gezerah was canceled due to the bracha that his talmidim had received. His students. The bracha is the blessing. And this little story is compared to the holiday of Purim, which was yesterday. I didn't record a video on yesterday. And Purim is the day that Esther was able to sacrifice her life for the king in order to get a commandment, a directive of war against the Jews that his advisor had caused with a signet ring, and against a man because he was Jewish that didn't bow to him. So the power struggle was gone because the woman's power was power of love for her people, power of self-sacrifice, overrode it. Like the drunkard, it says, like the drunkard, our abilities, our kochos, our strengths can be covered with alcohol, silliness, and so on, especially on a holiday like Purim where we're supposed to drink and forget who's good and who's bad. It's an idea, actually. We can be like these students and reveal it, and we can show the holiness. Amen, amen. And the practice will be to eat mindfully. So I'm going to just eat slowly. Just get some food, or if you're not hungry, maybe eat something little. I got this cake yesterday. I don't usually eat cake, but sometimes it's so important. It looks great. It's from my neighbor. And first we're going to look at our food. I'm going to stir into it. Look at the colors, the texture. And then we're going to touch it. We're going to touch the food. We're going to touch the food. And we're going to feel it, what it feels like, what this food feels like. And then when we take a bite, we're going to taste it. First, we're going to smell it. And I'm going to take a bite slowly. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei mazonos. We're really going to taste it. Mindfully focusing on the taste and the texture. it's not necessary to always eat this way, but once in a while it's so important to. And food is very close to us. A lot of people eat their feelings, so if we can eat this way, we can feel this way. Just not going as slow as you can, but deliberately slowing down. When we eat like this, we can do other things like this. Just really focusing on the experience. And as the flavor is less new and the texture and taste, starting now to think about what are we eating for? Like each bite, like I'm taking in this next bite for the ability to keep flowing into all that I'm gonna do or have to do or should do. And my last bite, I'm gonna let it sit in my mouth for, a few extra seconds before I chew. To really savor life, to really savor we're alive. Thank you. Thank you for joining. I'm going to say the after blessing. Barachatah Adonai Eloheinu Machalam. Al hamecha v'yal kakala v'yal tinivas asadeh v'yal eretzchem datova urechav asher tzisa menchal talav v'seinu lechal merpiyah. V'ezbayah mitzavar rachem na Adonai Eloheinu. Al Yisrael hamecha v'yal Yerushalayim v'rechav v'yal tziyam mishkan kvedecha v'yal mizbechecha v'al heichalecha v'bnei Yerushalayim v'akadosh meher v'yameinu v'aleinu v'secha v'samchenu ba. Nevracha b'kedusha v'tara. Ki ata Adonai tav meitev l'kal v'noideh l'chal haaretz v'yal mechya. Barachatah Adonai al haaretz v'yal mechya.